So we've done red, we've done green, and now we're going to do refactor. So if you look at these files, these views, you can see that there's a lot of repeated structure. But they're not exactly the same. This title varies from page to page. So perhaps somewhat paradoxically, our first step is going to be to add even more duplication. We're going to make these title areas exactly the same. And the way we're going to do that is with something that's a little bit fancy. It's a little advanced, but it's really useful, and we're going to do it once and never deal with this again. We're going to use a Rails facility called provide. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to go to the top of this file, and this is our first example of embedded Ruby. I'm going to say that, oops, let me do this. I want to provide a title, and I'm just going to use the base title of this is about. So provide title about. This syntax here, this the angle bracket %, evaluates this code as Ruby. And in this case, provide is part of the Rails framework. And then in this section here, what I want to do is actually insert the results of this title into the view, into the template. And the way to do that is the same angle bracket %, but then with an equal sign. And this is just the kind of thing that you have to get used to. You're not going to understand everything. In this context, you use the yield keyword. So you type yield. This could be clearer, Rails. It's a little, that actually used to be clearer, like back in Rails 1 point something. But this is actually the right way to do it in the sense that it's better Ruby. So let's save that, and actually let's go up here. And you know, it's annoying me that this is not working, that these tests aren't running automatically. So I'm going to change up the guard file. This should have just been working for you, because by the time you're watching this, you'll be using this updated guard file. So I'm just going to show you how to do this. All right, this is quite advanced, and don't worry if this is just complete gobbledygook. This is really weird and strange syntax if you've never seen Ruby before. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add in the right controller test when the views change. This here is matching app views and then some kind of controller. So this would be, for example, app views static pages. And this name static pages is being captured in this matches variable. And it's running what are called integration tests, which we'll be talking about later in this tutorial. But for now, I want to actually add this in test controllers. And then I want to, this is called variable interpolation. We'll actually be talking about this in the next lesson. So I'm going to say matches of 1. This is the name of the controller, like static pages. And then the name of the test, as you can see here, static pages controller test. This is static pages controller test.rb, and putting it in an array and adding it. Again, we'll actually be talking about this in the next lesson, this kind of data structure. So let's save that and go over here and save this and see if it works. Yeah, now it's running. Okay, so that's nice. That'll be a lot more convenient. So that means our about page is passing. Let's just copy this, provide, and let's do it on the home page here. Change it to home. And over here, change it to help. And then we want to put in the same yield here. You can see that this yield is actually going to be the same. We're replacing home here with yield. And replacing help here with yield. So let's save this. Still passing. This is the refactor part. This is so great because we've gotten to green and now we're making changes. So if there's just a tiny change or a tiny error, if we have this, it'll go red. Oops, there's a mistake. Or if we define the wrong thing here, if we accidentally keep about from this page, oops, it's still failing. So the test suite is going to catch any of those little errors. It's so easy to make these errors because you can see I'm just copying and pasting this thing. It'd be so easy just to do this and then forget to change that, and then when I save it, the test suite will fail. So it tells me, oh, I need to change it up to home. All right, so that's great. So now we've gotten back to green from that little breakage I introduced. And now we're ready to do the final step of refactoring. If you look at the top of these pages, right, this section here, and also the bottom here. But the most important part is this here. Let's just look at the head. So this section is exactly the same now, because we've factored out this variable title into this section. This is exactly the same in each of them. And so that's exactly what a layout file is for. If you look at this layout file, this is the one that I moved, you can see it's the same kind of structure. The indentation is different here. But so if you look at this, you can see probably what we want to do is just replace this part with this stuff here, with the title. And then the actual body, this stuff in here, gets inserted by this yield. Again, this yield it's not important at all to know what this does exactly at this point, but this is a very characteristic Ruby keyword. For those of you who have studied Ruby, this is yielding a block, but that is not important at all at this point. So to complete the refactoring, I want to move this layout file back to where it came from. So let's just reverse this, delete this here. And now let's open it back up. There it is. Let me just change the indentation a little bit here, just to make it the same as what we have over there. Oops, let's take a look at this. And I like to adhere to this rule that it's not too long. So I'm going to put a new line in here. And actually, if you move this over, you can see there's a little vertical line here that's at 80 columns. So I want to fit everything inside there. You can see both of these guys fit right in though. This is just stuff that gets generated by Rails. It's not at all important to know at this point what it's doing. If you're curious, you can Google anything like this, CSRF meta tags. Just drop that into Google and you can read all about it. Now I just noticed something here. This bothers me. You can see that this is actually overflowing. If again, there's this vertical column. This is overflowing it, but we're about to get rid of this this header stuff, and we're going to unindent this. We'll dedent it, and it will restore order to the application. All right, so let's take a look at this. This is we've got our head here, body, yield, and I'm just going to put this in here. So this is our same structure. You can see the structure in the layout file. So what we want to do is just take this stuff here and just copy it right in. Everything except the provide. That's the thing that's not the same. So I'm just going to actually cut that, and we're going to get rid of this here. There we go. So now it's exactly the same on each one, and so we're just going to get rid of the head and the body here. Dedent it. That's Shift Tab in this IDE. And actually, I'm not sure if this will be green. Let's take a look. Yeah, so it's failing because we haven't replaced all of the code. We haven't gotten rid of this in every one of them. So let's get rid of this here. So this layout is being run on every single page. So we can just get rid of this common code. So we're still red, but by the end of this refactoring, we should be back to green. Oops, I actually just screwed up, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Well, we'll let our test catch it. So at this point, after doing this dedent and removing this stuff, my expectation is that it will pass. But in fact, it's failing, so that's not good. Well, there are two reasons. Actually, I haven't saved this file, have I? You can tell if I make a change, this icon here, it goes. There's this little this open circle like a disk. If I save it, then it goes away. Wait a minute, I expected it to be green. What did I do wrong? Well, this is why you have tests. Like, oh, I see. You can see here that it's actually telling me the line number where the error is. It's line 8. So we can go to static pages controller, line 8, and there it is. So that tells me that the title test for the home page is not working. Well, let's look at the home page. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm missing my provide line. There's no place. Just oh, there it is. Yeah. So I just accidentally deleted it. Let's copy it from here and change this to home, and we should be back to green. Great.